Today we're going to be looking at ITMS, or the InterProse Text Messaging Service. ITMS is a built-in text messaging platform in the ACE application that supports both SMS and MMS. ITMS has both tools to send text individually as well as to be utilized in campaigns. We're going to be looking at some high-level functionality of ITMS and also how AI can help you in your texting journey. We're going to go look at the global management tool for ITMS. It's tucked under the utilities menu and then text message manager. You'll see that we've got a couple others here as well. This is the global management tool, which allows you to see unsigned and unresponded texts. Some of our partner organizations choose to only use this as a way to manage their text since it is global, whereas some choose to have the agents use the alert distribution system and some use a mix of both. Let's go check one of these out. Now this looks really similar to what is available on the agent page, but there are a couple slight differences. But let's go through some of these items. At the top, we have the phone number of the sender. So this is going to be the consumer's phone number. Select template is where we can go and pick a pre-templated message, quick and easy to send. But if it doesn't, none of these fit what you need to, you can type in this custom box here. You can see that this is pre-filled, and this is one of the many ways we see AI kind of wrapped up into the ITMS package. Off to the side here, there's a refresh button just in case you don't quite like the response. You can also type through here and edit as you see fit. We got lots of emojis. And then down here at the bottom, we've got link to an account. So this phone number is already associated with this dead ID we have here. But in case we didn't recognize the phone number or ACE didn't recognize the phone number, ITMS will send out an automated text that says reply with your name and account number, and we can verify the phone number and then use this link button to link the dead ID to the account. And what that does is it ports the conversation you're having here in the global tools so that it can be available on the account page in the text log. We have a few other tools here, block, archive, and read. Block works similar like it would on your phone. If you're getting a lot of profanity from someone or some spammy text messages, you can block the number. Archive and read, these are statusing management tools. So archive, that conversation's over, or agents being in habit of using red is great, just so you know that someone's had eyes on that particular text message. And then down here, we just have our thread. From here, let's go check out another global management tool called Text Message Search. That is also in the utilities menu here. Using text message search, there's a bunch of different ways you can look up text messages by the linked account, the agent, the template sent. You can even search for content, especially using wildcards like the % or asterisk, inbound text status, sent date is probably my most used, and sent text status, which we'll touch on these here in a minute. Once you're in, we got a nice big table, which is basically used as a report, and you can either print these to PDF or export these as needed. But I do want to highlight a couple of columns in here that are particularly useful. So this one is one of my favorites, vendor tracking status. So this is going to tell us, did the consumer get the text message or not? ACE has some really cool built-in processes that are triggered based upon the status. So you can see we have some slight variation in successful and delivered, and that's just a difference in carrier. But there is another classification of tracking results that are undeliverable, so they may be unknown or spam, etc. And what we can do with those is we can have ACE trigger some actions based upon that status, well, if we got spam, well, we really don't want to double down and text them again, so we're going to change the status of that phone number so that we don't text them again. Or perhaps maybe the status was unknown, so we're going to send them an email instead. And those are types of things that we can do automatically based off these statuses. These other two columns are great. This message type, so it's going to tell you, was this an SMS or is an MMS, as well as the text message parts. So these are going to be kind of more on the operations side. So how many texts are we sending? How many parts were these messages? And those come more into play into billing. So in addition to the text message parts, we can look down here and see the total number of packets, which is all the parts of one message combined here down at the bottom. One other cool feature that ACE has is SMS to MMS conversion. So once we get to 4 parts of a packet, it's going to convert that from SMS to MMS. So that basically creates a cost ceiling so that if you're sending or receiving a very large text message, that you're not going to get blown through the roof on costs there. We are here in the ITMS vendor area, and we're going to explore some of the alerting systems that are used to manage incoming traffic for text messages. There are 2 primary ways that we can manage those. The first is when a text comes in and that phone number is being managed by a primary agent, that person is going to get the alert. And what does that alert look like? I can show you up here at the top. We have this flashing lightning bolt here. It also makes an audible sound. And when we open this up, we have a line item here that will take you to the text. Now, we're not going to go in here quite yet because I want to show you some other things here in the vendor screen before we navigate there. Down here at the bottom is the second way we see that these texts are being managed. So the supervisor field here, this is a smart list. ACE will actually look at these user IDs and determine if any of these people are logged in. The next box below, the use round robin priority, that is a way of distributing alerts amongst those who are logged in. So say we have 9 texts that came in and ACE sees that 3 of these users in this list are logged in. It's going to give 3 alerts to each of those folks, and that will help us, kind of spread that volume out. So we're asking, why are we having supervisors getting alerts when our agents are expected to manage them? Well, we have this alert delay in minutes that says if our agent doesn't respond in 5 minutes in this case, then we're going to have that alert escalated to a supervisor to make sure that our consumer is responded to in a timely manner. We do have some folks who are in the camp of, well, we're not going to have our agents using texting or responding to text at all. We're going to have a specific person or people who manage text, or perhaps we just want to get our feet wet with it before we have agents start to respond. And usually in that case, we'll leave the alert delay in minutes so that our supervisors are also going to be getting the alerts immediately, and you can manage those there. All right, so let's go check out this alert and we can see what it says. As you can see, it brought us right here to a text thread where your agent can respond. And if you were a supervisor, you could respond from here too, or you can navigate your way to the text message managing spot as well. All right, we're going to do some discovery in how AI is wrapped up into the ITMS product. Now, there are many ways this is done, so we're going to take this piece by piece. You may notice the name Rainmaker from time to time when I'm demoing here, and that is the name of the AI agent that is a part of ACE in general. And Rainmaker itself is backed by OpenAI's product called ChatGPT. You may be familiar with that one. So we're going to start over here, and we're going to look at some of the settings that we have at the vendor level. So these are kind of broken up into 3 levels from low involvement to high involvement. So we're going to start at the low level here. Enable Rainmaker means that you are going to have AI do sentiment analysis and generate a response, but it's not actually going to be sending any text out. The next level is going to be the auto responses, and this is where we see the 24-hour coverage occur. So ACE is going to say, we don't have any agents logged into the system, so we're going to allow Rainmaker to respond for us. And this last level is where we have the most AI involvement, and this says that we're going to allow Rainmaker to respond all of the time. And this is going to be great for those who have a lot of incoming traffic or those who are small agencies and simply don't have the manpower to respond to a high volume of incoming texts. We're going to put our compliance caps on for a second. I'm going to direct your attention down here to another spot in the vendor level where we have AI involvement. And that is going to be actually making sure that your text content is going to be appropriate for the carriers. So that's to make sure that we maintain good deliverability over time. So I'm going to make a quick change here and hit apply. And we're going to see that ACE is going to look at this and say, there are a few things wrong with this. And what's lovely about it is we're going to see down here exactly what needs to be changed and the language used in that. And the best part is that we give you an easy way out and regenerate a sample for you that you can literally copy and paste and have a much more compliant text. Another way we've got Rainmaker managing our text is through what's called a Rainmaker condition. And I like to think of this as a filter. We're going to have Rainmaker do sentiment analysis when those texts come in to say, does this text meet this condition? And the idea is to get the text out of the way so that our agents are focused on the texts that really need their attention rather than some of the slow hanging fruit. So let's look at some examples. Up here we have a wrong number. So we're saying this text comes in and Rainmaker says, is this person indicating it's a wrong number? And if yes, it's going to do some action. So in this case, we're going to change the phone status to a wrong number and we're just going to archive that thread. We have some other examples here too, like profanity. So if we want to keep agents from seeing profanity, we can certainly have Rainmaker read that and just go ahead and archive or whatever you see fit. Another great example is a DNC. So this consumer says, please don't talk to me anymore. Or do not send me any messages. We can have Rainmaker and read that and say, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to just have it mark do not call, do not text, etc. And we're not going to talk to that consumer anymore and archive that message. Another great one is just archiving conversations, right? Someone says thank you back, and that's still a task that an agent has to go do. So we can have Rainmaker do that for us instead. How does Rainmaker know to do this? So if we go into one of these here, we can see that Rainmaker is given a prompt, which gives kind of some guidelines of what Rainmaker is looking for when it's doing the sentiment analysis on incoming texts. So again, the goal is to make sure that our agent's only getting to what they need and hopefully saving you some time. All the tools we've seen thus far are for both SMS and MMS, but I want to dive into MMS a little bit more before we enter demo. MMS is outbound only, and there are a couple of ways that we can create an MMS. One is by attaching a stagnant image to the text profile itself. An example use case would be a logo, for example. And the other is by taking a email profile and converting it into an image. And what that allows us to do is to capture variables from the account and the demographic and include those in the image. We can take a lot of those links that we would typically include in a sample validation notice and put them in the body of the text for easy access. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much and see you next time.